Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Your nighttime, right time DJ Music. As I always say, folks, I got 15 minutes to rock this post, so let me get straight to it. Big shout out to Emma Bradley for posting this on my timeline. And the reason why I chose this particular one to speak on today, folks, because this was an era in time that I was actually living. I was about the age of these children that you're about to see in this video. And this was not only happening in the South, this was happening in the streets of New York, this was happening in the streets of Boston, this was happening in the streets of Arizona. Racism is all over this country. People want to equate racism to the South. I beg to differ with you. The only reason why people want to say that racism is more heavy in the South is because of the Civil War, where the South fought the North for, supposedly they say, to free the slaves. But think about this. That's what Juneteenth is about. 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, there was still thousands and thousands of black people that weren't considered themselves as free. That's what Juneteenth is about for all you folks that didn't know. 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, stating that all men, there's no such thing as slavery. 2 years later. Think about that as we watch going to this next clip here. So as I was saying, you know, back in the early 70s, late 70s, middle 70s, you know, that's the time that I was growing up. You know, young lad, or as they say, as my pops used to call me, lad. You know, grade school, go on and into high school. So what these children are experiencing is the very same things that I experienced. The very same things that my brothers and sisters experienced. Because if you were a child of the 60s or you were a child of the 70s, you don't think racism is dead. I know I don't. Like I always tell folks, racism is never going to die. It's just like brown grass during the wintertime. You think it's not growing, but all it is just dormant. Waiting for some water and some sunshine to hit it so it can rear its ugly head. And it does. But what I want you folks to do, again, look at the picture of on the screen that's in front of you. You see how these people are actually smiling. There's a lady in a Klan robe, and it's obvious that she's married, and it's obvious that she's clutching a child. Now, do you not think that any of the people that you see in this picture didn't teach their child to hate black people, hate brown people, to hate yellow people, to hate red people? Because they consider themselves as the supreme race? Think about that. You hate people because of the color of their skin, nothing more. You're mad at black people because they refuse to allow themselves to continue to be slaves. That's white man's mentality sometimes. Now somebody going to get on here and say, well, not all white people think like that. Of course they don't. I'd be a damn fool to think that. I'd be a damn fool to say that every white person that I encounter is want to do some kind of harm to me. No, I don't think that way at all. But what I will say is there's enough of you white folks that's been out there that will see me, that will see someone that looks like me, and hello doesn't come out your mouth. What's that nigger doing here? Come out your mouth instead. It's the thing in the case of the Central Park 5 that the people are talking about now. If it had not been for the color of those skins, those boys would not have spent one day in jail. Think about all the police shootings of unarmed black men, unarmed black women. And it came out, they just released new video footage of the police and Sandra Bland. Do you think that black woman would have killed herself? Black people don't kill themselves. Now, not to say that it doesn't happen, but as far as the suicide scale goes, we're at the very bottom of it, especially black women. Point something percent of the population of black women have committed suicide. So that's something we don't do. If Sandra Bland was moving from one town to the other for a better life, believe me, the last thing on her mind was thinking about dying. Ask her girlfriends. But anyway, folks, we're going to get to this video right quick. Like now, what I want you to do, I want you to see how these children react when a black person comes in their neighborhood.
Better turn around, y'all.
We were riding down this block, and these white people start saying, "Get out of here, niggas. You know, get out of my neighborhood. Don't come to the thing." Then they start hitting on her. Throwing rocks and everything else. Throwing rocks. Because we were in their neighborhood.
We went on a bike hike to McDonald's. We didn't mean to bother anybody.
We had a nice
we saw the parade, we saw a gathering, so we went down there to see what was happening. All right. I mean, we didn't bother anybody. We weren't looking for trouble. I didn't even know people around here were like that. I've never experienced anything like this in my life.
What happened to you?
Nothing happened to me.
Okay. Did you hear that, young black girl? I have never experienced anything like this in my life. They were just simply children out looking for fun and adventure, going to McDonald's. They saw a parade. As a child, of course, you see a parade, you hear music, you see floats, you want to be a part of what's going on. Little did these children know that they were not welcome, simply because they were black, nothing more, nothing less. In their neighborhood, as they said. But somewhere way back in the 17-somethings, they wrote this thing called the Declaration of Independence. And part of the Declaration of Independence says that all men are created equal. They called themselves Christians. If you go into the Bible, it doesn't say white men should rule the earth. It says all men, all women are children of God, regardless of what they look like, what size they are, or what color they are. You hear these Ku Klux Klan members going around saying, "I'm a Christian." Well, if that's the kind of Christian you are, no thank you to religion. Let's hear some more of these children.
But this little boy, short boy about my size, or little short, and picked up a rock, and he was in the front of all these tall honkies. Right? He threw the rock. He tried to hit my sister, but he almost hit me about that much away from me. And I was sure wish he had hit me with that rock. I would pick up the rock right next to me and hit him right in his face. They always say niggas are doing everything. They always say we're doing everything, right? Every time the white people come down the block, we don't push them out their neighborhood and throw rocks and start hitting them. We don't bother the white people around our neighborhood, but when we get in the white neighborhood, they just push us out.
Yeah. Everybody was a citizen with nothing, you know, little piece of dirt, dogs. I mean, that's the way you treat an animal. I mean, God, we're human beings.
Out of the mouth of babe, folks. That's the way you treat a dog. And if you've seen some of the commercials that's on TV now, white people treat their dogs better than they treat each other. Now, here it is. Somewhere in that crowd, I can guarantee you that some of those children will never forget that day, that particular day where they was out having fun, and instead of having fun, they got the scar of rocks being thrown at them, being called niggers, being called everything except a child of God, simply because they were in a neighborhood where white folks thought they didn't belong. And y'all still want to tell me that racism has changed? Because isn't the same thing happening today? I'm going to slide over to the NFL just for a second. Remember Colin Kaepernick? His worst thing of why he lost his starting job for one of the NFL's premier teams, the 49ers, if you don't know, was simply because he took a kneel in protest of police brutality in this country. But you have another NFL player by the name of Richie Incognito. Go look this guy up. From team to team he has traveled. With each team that he has traveled, he has literally fucked that team up. The continuity, simply because he's a racist, because he's a bully, and because he just thinks that the world owes him something. That shit don't stink. He's been kicked off his college teams, but yet this week, with all the stuff that he's done, beating on his wife, sending racist text messages to team members, the NFL still decided, a team in the NFL still decided that he was worthy enough to be drafted and play for another team. And all Kaepernick did was take a knee in protest of how black and brown people were being shot down in the street. Let's listen to these children some more.
You don't treat other people like that. It's just wrong. Black, white, I don't care. A person is a person. Skin should have no bearing on how you treat a person. That's just wrong. I hate their goddamn guts. I can't say that I hate them. I can't say that it's totally the kids' fault. I mean, I'm sure their parent had some bearing on the way they feel and everything else. I think it's just the system. I don't know. I can't say that I hate them because I don't hate anybody.
Do you forgive them?
No. No. Can't say that, no hurt. But they gonna always do that. They always spit on us like we some dogs. They always gonna do that. On them. Ain't nothing gonna change.
Ain't nothing gonna change. That was way back in 1978. Was he wrong? Absolutely not. He was not wrong. Absolutely not. He was not wrong. Not by a landslide, folks. I don't know what just happened, but I guess the video decided to switch over itself. So let's see if we can go back and pick it up again. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if we can get back to the original part of it. There we go. I do apologize for that, folks. My fault. You know how Facebook is. Instead of downloading.
Can't take back no hurt. But they gonna always do that. They always spit on us like we some dogs. They always gonna do that. On them. Ain't nothing gonna change.
Ain't nothing gonna change. Look at the look on that young man's face. Ain't nothing gonna change. And he is absolutely right. Nothing's gonna change because nothing will change. And it never will change. As long as you have a person teaching the next person how to hate someone just because of what they look like. It's never gonna change. It's always gonna be a matter of racial divide in this country. Always will be. Now, you think that young man hasn't been scarred? You think you think as a black man that I could walk up to this young man and say, there are some good white people in this world? You know, his reply would be, show me one. Because all the ones I've met, all they've ever done is cause me some harm. I just don't get it, folks. You got the President of the United States, big racist. You got his cronies that's all around him. Jeff Sessions, known racist. You got Paul Manafort, another known racist. You got Betsy DeVos, known for hating HBCUs and tried to get them disbanded. These are the people that's running this country. Think about what Donald Trump is doing, and no one in white America will stand up and say, it's time to get rid of this president. Monkey see, monkey do. Racism is dead. I dare you to walk outside that door. Walk outside your door. You'll find racism. All you got to do is stand at the corner long enough. It'll come to you. It will come. With that, folks, share, like, subscribe. If you got a comment, you know where to find me. If not, you want to come on over to GSRN Radio and tune into my weekly broadcast show On the Beat on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have Skype or if you want to join me on Facebook Messenger, you got something to talk about, you're more than welcome to. All right? Thank you very much, folks. Remember, Racism ain't dead.